Welcome back, family. This is Betong Crypto, where we learn crypto step by step with confidence and clarity. We are here as a family to learn from each other. Today, we are going to look at the market focus for this week. We're going to look at Bitcoin, altcoins, price target for this week, what we should expect. The goal here is to prepare you for what is coming in the future. We need to protect ourselves and stay patient while the market comes to us. I want us all to be successful. So let's dive right away into what I got for you today. But before we go there, I want to welcome all of you who have been here with me. I appreciate you guys so much for being here with me always. Those of you who have subscribed, those of you who engage with my content, I appreciate you all. You are awesome. You are the reason why I do this every now and then. And for those of you who are coming for the first time, you are welcome still. Help this video reach out to more people by hitting that like button early. And yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to do. And by the way, I want to believe you guys are doing well. Like you're feeling okay. You're doing so well. You know. So let's dive into what I got for you guys today. Excuse. Now, I want us to look at crypto bubbles. And also we're gonna look at the fear and greed index. So for now, let's focus with the fear and greed index. The fear and greed index is moving towards the greed section or the greed area. We experience extreme fear and like super extreme fear last week, and yesterday was 24, and today we are seeing it around 29, 38, which is good. It means there's some momentum kept coming back in the market, right? Investors are becoming more confident to buy crypto, to buy Bitcoin, and I think this is entirely with what I mentioned in my previous video. Remember, I mentioned that we should see Bitcoin first of all hit the 50 EMA before we should expect anything to happen to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And we experienced that last week. I'm gonna go to the chart to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But those of you who watch my videos throughout the session, you understand this, like you understand what I'm trying to say. I mentioned that we should experience Bitcoin hit or kiss the 50 EMA on the weekly time frame before we might expect any major move to take place. So seeing this now on the fear and greed index, it gives me some perspective as to maybe the market makers are gonna move price next to the upside. So I just want us to look at this now and also look at where we might be experiencing price in the future. Guys, 1 minute. I want to do something real quick. Okay, I got it now. 1 second, not 1 minute. Of course. uh, Okay, now let's move forward to crypto bubbles. Now, what I want us to establish here is simple. I want us to look at what happened last week or the weekly setup for cryptocurrency. So let's begin with the top 100 coins. I always want us to look at what these coins are doing because they represent the most liquidity in the market. Although these coins have the most liquidity in the market. All right, you can see for the week, most this coin that you see in green has done so well. Look at Fi. Wow, I didn't know Fi coin did well this week, up plus 67%. ICP is up more than, like, I think ICP has been up like 1x ever since it started moving from, I think, from $4, something like that. You can just click on the coin that you want. You're going to see the past performance for the month, for the year, for the week, and for the day. So it means that for the year, ICP is down 15%, right? For the week, it's up 79%, and for the month, it's more than 1x. So as I mentioned, is up more than 1x. So the general sentiment tells me the crypto market looks good from the top 100 coins. Looking at the weekly setup, you can do this, with your coin, or you just go to the next to see, okay, for the top 200 coins, which ones are we doing well. You can see soon, or I I mean, many of them have been doing so well this week. So the general sentiment for altcoin looks bullish. Does it mean that we are back in the alt season, or we're gonna be experiencing the alt season right now? Well, I cannot really say that until we are gonna break some key levels. I'm gonna show you guys stuff here on the chart that might speak to that. Okay, so looking now at the liquidity heat map for this week, okay, I want us to look at it for this week today, and I want us to forecast what will happen with Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin moves the market in general. Okay, so if you are able to understand what might happen with Bitcoin, it might give you some perspective as to what we should expect to happen with altcoins. Okay, now I'm going to it might give us some perspective as to what might happen with altcoins. So looking now at this, you know, on the weekly setup, let me just go on the weekly setup to see what we have here, because I think the day is showing me something else. Let me see. Okay, this is loading now. Okay, so looking at the weekly setup, we can go right up to $112,000, and we can go right down to 100 and to $96,000. So this is the range for this week: 112K or $96,000. Now, looking at this for the next 3 days, right? What should we expect? Looking at price, because now we are going to narrow the price action to to zones where maybe it's doable, not like maybe it's doable. Okay, so based on this current chart, you can see clearly that um maybe when the market opens, it can take us to, let's say, $108,000. But along the week, we can see the price of Bitcoin drop right down to 100 or 99K, or back to let's say 97 or 96,000, as we saw on like looking at the 30 days time frame. So looking at the weekly time frame, so this is something I think can happen. Okay, now looking at the daily setup, like let's say for the next 24 hours for Bitcoin, what should we expect? Based on current data, things can change. We know we cannot rely on one data alone. So you can see clearly today range is established. We can go right down to $102,000. So if we see Bitcoin go to 102K, there's still high chances that we can move right up to 108K. But because price is closer to 108K, I think they might first go to hit the liquidity at 108K before anything else. So this is what I'm looking at currently for Bitcoin. Now let's dive straight away to the chart. Let's see what we got here with this bad boy. We're gonna begin with this on the weekly setup. It's always good. So it's always good we look at this on the weekly setup to give us some perspective as to where we are in this cycle. Now, remember I told you guys earlier that we should experience Bitcoin, or we should first of all see Bitcoin hit the 50-day EMA before we can start looking at the next big move for Bitcoin. Now, if say you follow my videos and you saw how I mentioned in my previous videos that before Bitcoin, make the all time high, or each time Bitcoin goes to the next all time high, the move always begin from the 50-day moving average. You can zoom out, you're gonna see that the data is consistent. Bitcoin will always hit the 50-day EMA on the weekly setup before it goes to make the next all-time high. It doesn't just go immediately. You can see back then, price is gonna move sideways, consolidate, couple of weeks before we see that move. So expect Bitcoin to move sideways, not just pump like from where we are. If say that's gonna be the case, I'm picking now on the bullish scenario. If we're gonna experience Bitcoin to go and make the next all-time high, then we should expect Bitcoin to move sideways from here, to an extent, price come down, bounce again from there, up, down, before we see the next move to the upside. But now let's look at the possible moves for this week. Okay, we want to establish something that will help us make money this week, or help us make good decisions or better decisions for that matter. Look at where price is, okay, and look at where we have the 5 day and the 13 day EMA. Currently, the 5 day and the 13 day EMA are seen around the $110,000 and 106, oh, no, $108,000 and $110,000. Now, if you go back to the liquidity heat map, what did we mention here? That Bitcoin might easily go to 108K this week or today, right? Or it can go to 110K. Now, this is in confluence with what we are seeing now currently on the Bitcoin chart. This is the alpha trend zone of interest, meaning this zone has always been the zone where price reject or price. So it is acting like a POC, the pivot point. When price is below, it acts as resistance, and when price is above, it acts as support. So it's like the POC of the alpha trend. So that's why I have to mark this zone long time ago to help me in the future. Now we we attempted this area today. Let me say yesterday, and look at this rejection here. So if we are gonna be bullish, like that bullish, then we should come right up towards this area where we have this 5 day moving average, and this should take us towards the 108 and $110,000 price point. Okay, so you can see that we have already established where we should expect Bitcoin to go to. So if you see Bitcoin go to about 110K, and you start seeing price rejecting above that level, then you should remind yourself that, okay, this zone is a zone where we have strong strong resistance. you know Price might not just go straight away to break and close above. Okay, so you can now start looking for short, and also getting out from your altcoins. Okay, like, I have to make this clear to you, so that we like I don't want us to put ourselves in hype. I want us to be patient always, and look at the key areas where we can exploit. And when you see price in those key areas, or around those key areas, you are going to see your altcoin spike as well. They're going to be doing well, because Bitcoin moves these altcoins. The reason why you see your altcoins do well is because Bitcoin gave them that signal. If Bitcoin didn't dump, your altcoin wouldn't have dumped. If Bitcoin was going to be pumping like continuously, then your altcoin would have been pumping also continuously. So that's something you should know. Onwards, try to understand how Bitcoin moves. Don't buy. I'm not saying you should buy Bitcoin. No, you don't have to buy Bitcoin, but you can use Bitcoin as a catalyst to guide you towards investing in altcoins. So it's very important you are aware of all of this. By the way, if you are someone who want to learn more about trading, you want to take your trading to the next level, I have launched a free training session where you can take advantage of. The link is found below this video. There you're going to learn everything trading, investing, and I want to be able to impact my knowledge, my experiences to you. So make sure you go below this video and you know be part of that session. By the way, also, if you are in cryptocurrency, you need privacy. I recommend you use NordVPN. NordVPN is one of the best in the industry. You can protect your data from hackers, from those who want to steal your cryptocurrency. And, in general, just to browse safe, to be safe on the internet, right? On your mobile, on your laptops, I'm affiliate to NordVPN. So using my link is going to give this channel support or show support to this channel. Let's dive back into today's video. Now, we have established this. Bitcoin is looking that bullish for the week. Okay? That's been established. Now, let's go for the day. Where are we today? Where we are today is above the 5-day EMA, but we need to be above the 13-day EMA as well. On the flip side, I'm looking at this now. I'm seeing that we still have the 50-day EMA, because ever since price break below this, price did retest it. Yeah. So ever since price left the 50 EMA and created this low here, we haven't yet retest this 50 EMA. We must not go straight away there. Okay, we must not go there straight away. But at the same time, we should be looking at this 50-day moving average as the main zone we can cash out profit for this week. So if say we see price leave the 13-day EMA, then the next possible target is the 50-day EMA, you know, before we can start looking at, okay, maybe from there, price is going to break, or retest back key levels. But now this is the play for this week. Because I'm looking at this. We can have multiple candles until that 50 moving average, and also, guys, I think what I'm seeing here on the daily time frame is divergence. Remember, like, I don't know if you guys have good memory. Of course, I know you have good memory. Remember, I told you guys that when like this dump here was caused by like the so-called market makers. I mean, they dump Bitcoin from where we are to this level, and I told you guys that they have already established where they want to take price to. So at one point in time, they're gonna bring price back down here to recover this liquidity that they this used to push price downward. And you see, they brought us back there with this huge vector candle. You can see it clearly, forming this divergence here. And what happened? Price closed. It meet like directly below this week. You can see just under, like, exactly. This is not coincidence. This is the market makers playbook. They are telling you that they have already established, they have wiped out the rest of the liquidity that they have, that they wanted to wipe out from the zone. So this now is giving me even more confidence that the upside is more, down the downside. Why? We have liquidity here around the 118K and 120K zone. So if we are going to make our way back and stay above 112K, then there's high chances we can go for this liquidity around 118K and 120K, and it can take us back to the next all-time high for Bitcoin. So this is something possible, but we need to see price break these key levels. There's lots of resistance along the way before we attain that goal. Okay. Now, looking at the altcoin market, I want us to look at TotaTrade, right? These are all altcoins out there, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want us to look at this carefully. And what I want us to establish here is, where are we with our altcoins? It's very important, guys. We are good with our altcoins. Why? We are above the 50-day EMA. But at the same time, the 5-day and the 13-day EMA have crisscrossed each other, which is bearish for altcoins. We want to see this week close bullish. How? We want to see this week close above the 5 day and the 13-day EMA before we can start looking at our altcoins to be super bullish. You know, if this is not going to happen, then whatever gains you're going to be making from your altcoins, guys, take it out immediately. If you're going to be making profit, if you see your altcoin pump 1x, cash out your profit. Don't allow it to stay there. You can allow it to stay there when you see this chart flip and become bullish. You want to see price above the 5 day, 13-day EMA and the alpha trend. This is very important, you know. And going now to the daily time frame for this, for total tree, you can see that we are below the 50-day EMA, which is not good as well. But on the other hand, we are above the 5 day and the 13-day EMA. So, like, we are in between, today, this week, or like, okay, this week, we should see at least um total trade stay above the 50-day EMA on the daily time frame. That's how we can be positive or confident to buy any altcoin that is bullish or that has high volume or that moves alongside Bitcoin or that we expect these metrics. Okay. Now let's go to our like low cap coins. These are coins that are not among the top 10 in the space. So all the coins out there, excluding the top 10 cryptocurrency in the space, this is the chart. So this coin represent those top coins that have high volume that are not in the top 10 altcoin in the space. Now, what do you see here, guys? I mean, based on the way we go about our stuff on this channel, what do you see? Vector candle. This huge vector candle. And what happened? Half of this vector candle was recovered. This is bullish. That's why I'm super bullish on low cap altcoins. They are going to do well. But at the same time, don't ignore the macro analysis of Bitcoin and looking also at total tree, because total tree is are coins that have most liquidity. So if these coins that have most liquidity are dumping or are not going to give us some bullish signal, then whatever your coin is going to do, the low cap coin, those other coins are going to suck out the liquidity out of it. So these guys are going to sell to buy these coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Zcash, and so on and so forth. They are going to sell those altcoins to buy that. Like they're going to sell the gains. They're going to cash out the gains they made from the low cap altcoins and put it into the high cap coins. That's how the game works in cryptocurrency. You just have to understand this. Now, if we keep rejecting this area here currently, then I don't think we should be looking at possible big moves for altcoins. At least we want to see the like price stay above the alpha trend to an extent, before we can be looking at any big moves, to take place soon. Let's see. If you're watching me and you have any question, or if you have any coin that you want to analyze, I'm gonna do it for you accordingly. Okay. What I want us to look at now is USDT dominance. This is also another macro aspect of the market that we can always take advantage of. Okay. Now, looking at this on the weekly setup, right? There's something I want to bring to your attention. Remember, remember what we saw with Bitcoin on the weekly setup, that we need to see Bitcoin price at least hits the 5 day and 13-day EMA. The same thing we are seeing here with USD dominance. At least we should expect it to retrace back to the 5 day and the 13-day EMA. But there's a bad news here. Like, that's why, guys, we have to take everything into consideration. So if Bitcoin is not able to go and make, like, to break the key levels that I mentioned, the key resistance level, which is 108 $100,000 and $110,000. Like, if it's not able to break and close above, which gonna mean, okay, stay above the 5-day and the 13-day EMA or the weekly setup, these dominants won't be able to break and stay below as well. But look at what I'm seeing here. The 13-day EMA is crossing above the 50-day EMA. Guys, this is super bearish for Bitcoin. Trust me. But let's not be ahead of ourselves and start creating some fear that, okay, because of this, maybe Bitcoin is going to dump. This might also mean altcoins are going to pump, like altcoin season is here. So if we should experience um USD dominance drop down to the 50-day EMA, which is going to be around 4.77%, it means Bitcoin is going to an extent pump. And if Bitcoin is not pump to towards the $110,000, then your altcoins are gonna do well, like really well. So all of this tie with each other. And when you see dominance around the 50-day EMA, oh boy, you are looking at exit immediately. Exit until you see price flip, or you see what price or how price is going to react towards that area. You know, I love to do this with you guys because my community is a community that I believe we should be ahead of everyone else. We should be looking at TA or looking at the market in a different lens. I want us to have that lens that help us make money every week. I want us to be able to transform $100 to $1,000, $50 to $500. Keep compounding every now and then. I don't want us to base our analysis on hype. I don't want us to base our analysis on gambling. I want us to base our analysis on facts, on actual data on the chart. I want us to be able to protect ourselves before anything happen. And if you are watching me and you want to be part of this community without any hype, without any like FOMO, then subscribe, like the video, and share it with someone else out there. Before we even go, I want us to look at the crypto or the forex calendar. Let me just say the financial calendar for this week. What do we have this week? Okay. Let's see. Do we have CPI this week? No, this is Monday. We don't have much this week. Let me see. What do we have in the US? US former member Williams. Okay. I'm not meeting. Let's see. Okay, we don't have any major news from the US. This. Let me see. Okay, the unemployment rate is gonna come out. Okay, this is from China. Let's see. Yeah, they have the PPI minute. That's gonna be on Friday. So from now to Friday, we still have like we. I think the crypto market this week is gonna be okay. It's gonna be cool. We don't have any major stuff going on in the US. Where we have most liquidity. Yeah, I'm not seeing any major stuff going happening this week. Maybe I'm missing out something. If I'm missing out something, you can comment below and let me know what I'm missing so far for this week. You know. Um okay, looking at some altcoins, let's see. In general, let's look at some altcoins. Let's see where we are with Ethereum on the weekly setup. Okay, guys, remember also I mentioned that Ethereum should at least reset back to the 50-day EMA on the weekly setup before we should experience any major movement to the upside. Ethereum also have done that. So from now on, we can either see Ethereum dump and stay below the 50-day EMA, which is going to be bearish for Ethereum, like bearish for all coins as well. And if Ethereum continues to move to the upside, then we're going to see Ethereum go to the next all-time high. Looking at the Nasdaq, let's see the Nasdaq is doing so well. Let me say, last week for the Nasdaq was okay. You know, to an extent because price created this opportunity. The Nasdaq dump back about how many percent? Let's see, right down to 24 thousand. You know, and today or this week the Nasdaq has started strong, you know. So I think if the Nasdaq is not do well, then maybe Bitcoin will do well too. Why you can see last week was really bad, but at the same time it was also nice to see this correction here. Then now continuation to the upside. So if this move is not able to go and make higher highs, then we can see the Nasdaq dump. But each time the Nasdaq has hit the 50-day EMA on the daily time frame, you can see price goes to make the next all-time high. Let's look at gold. Let's see where we are with gold. Gold is still retracing. I think gold is like I saw gold back then, but at the same time, okay, let me just say this, guys. Gold can recover half of this move or this vector candle, but gold cannot go and make the next all-time high if say gold hasn't yet hit the 50-day EMA. For us to see the next all-time high for gold, I think gold should at least reset back to the 50-day EMA. Of course, it shouldn't be that case, but I think looking at previous price action, they are gonna at one point bring it back there. You know, so the 50-day EMA can be moving towards that area. Then at one point we're gonna see a dump towards it. Then gold can go and make the next all-time high you know. Looking at Ethereum, I mean Solana, let's see where we are with Solana. Solana going right down to about $148,000. That's $145,000. Wow, wow, that was around the 800-day moving average. Wow, oh, wow, this is crazy. Now, looking at this and also looking at the weekly setup for Solana, I think overall Solana is bearish. Why I say so? I say so because Solana is below the 50-day EMA on the weekly time frame. So I'm not gonna be looking at Solana like long term for trading, maybe more accumulation, not trading long term or like like swing trading Solana. Maybe scalp can go wide. But I'm looking at this now to mean opportunity for some Solana altcoins, you know, also Solana ecosystem coins that also are going to dump with Solana or that dumped with Solana you know. Going to some other altcoins here, let's see which ones we have here that we can easily take advantage of today. I did a video, it's for members only. So if say you want to take advantage of that video, join the membership. It's not costly, it's just $2, $2 monthly. I'm gonna be sharing exclusive for members content. So if say you want to support this channel and be a member, do so. It's just $2 every month. Yeah. So guys, I think overall, what we have been discussing here today is going to help you somehow stay ahead of the curve, help you protect your bags, and you know yeah, put you out there to protect you from losing money. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching. If you didn't enjoy the video, it's okay. Thanks for watching as well. See you guys the next one and take care of yourself. Bye bye. Ciao.